Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we like to begin this lesson by giving all glory, all honor, and all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach Kodash, giving double honors, double unto the apostles and elders of great men, so you surely do rule well. As always, we like to say shalom unto the elect. There are a couple of brothers here gathered together from the hills of Yahushai camp, but I'm Maya Shala.
And me brother Isaiah.
Right? And we come out to bring out a little bit of edification. What's willing this lesson is edifying on the topic, the infamy of the prophets. If you could give me what that word infamy means, Baruch Hashem.
Can me get in
Miriam Mercer. You can get in online etymology.
I have it in both. I'll get it in both ways.
Yeah.
Right. Now infamy. Let me see if I get this song. Right, in that regard. Plural infamies, it says definition 1, evil reputation brought about by something grossly criminal, shocking or brutal.
Right.
2, an extreme and publicly known criminal or evil act. It says the state of being infamous.
Press the word infamous, Baruch Hashem. I know, so like I could even read some of the synonyms as well.
Right, synonyms: discredit, disesteem, disgrace, dishonor, disrepute.
A prophet is without honor in his own tongue.
Ignominy, oblique, oblique. See this one.
Oblique.
What shame? See the
shame as well as a good synonym as well. Obloquy.
Right. Odium, opprobrium, to other reproach, shame.
Right.
As examples, he never escaped the infamy of his crimes had earned him. He never escaped the infamy his crimes had earned him. Despite her eventual pardon, she could never completely free herself of the infamy of being named a war criminal.
Right.
Versus,
which, if you really watch it, you could even add our next point to it, the prophetic infamy that is set to come upon the men of the Lord. We will be infamous for throwing down this, which in fact I guess it would lead to the last point, the kingdom, because the kingdom of this world going down and the prophets will be made infamous in it. Right? Again, you know that Revelation 13:16, you can't stop talking about that enough. When we tell everybody don't take it, and they take it, and the shit come upon them for taking it, what's gonna happen? They're gonna blame us. They're gonna say, well, you caused it. And they ain't wrong. They don't understand what they're saying, but they ain't wrong, because when we understand the power that a prophet is walking in, Yahweh, you understand that yes, a prophet did cause the evil to come upon you. He told you of it before it happened.
yeah. But as you go back into, not just that we should take as well, but it's not just that, you go back into ancient times, and you had a man in 300, when the most famous scene in 300 where Leonidas kicked down the Persian man down the well. That man was known as what? I went into it the other day, but it's slipping my mind right now. Is it an envoy?
Envoy?
No, I had it here, let me see. Alright, you know it. It's, I can't remember, ambassador. For lack of a better word, it's an ambassador. AK, when kingdoms are going down, they often went down in violent means and after wars. Before a war ever came up on the doorstep of another nation or another kingdom, they were notified of it. So AK, wars being brought up on other nations, an envoy.
Envoy, a person delegated to it.
Yes. An envoy.
Envoy.
But I don't think that's the word the Persian man used.
Right, but it's describing an envoy.
Yeah. He said,
until I guess just edification, what an envoy is, a person delegated to represent one government in its dealings with another, synonym to the word messenger, representative, which I guess the prophets is the envoys to the kingdom to come here and become right. Right.
So when the prophets step on the scene, they come and let this present temporal evil world know that their time is up.
Done.
So that's how the prophets is come dealing. That is why these enemies to the kingdom, infamous amongst the kingdoms, the infamous amongst the rulers, the infamous amongst
the rebels of the nation of Israel.
Rebels of the nation of Israel, and the infamous amongst the other nations as well. Right. So anybody that doesn't want to see this world end, we are infamous amongst them. Right. So continuing on here. First known is 15th century in the meaning defined that sense one. Right.
If you could get in the
I'm going to infamous first.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It says adjective infamous. It says having a reputation of the worst kind, notoriously evil.
And when you're going to the true meaning of the word evil, it means what? Bad time. So if we're truly evil, it's because what we truly call it bad times on this earth, because we power truly evil.
I mean,
Deuteronomy 32:39, see now that I am he, and there is no power with me. I kill, I make alive. Isaiah 45 make mention of what I create peace and I create evil. So the Most High is evil, and he does evil in the earth, and before he does it, he sends his mouthpiece to warn you. So the mouthpiece is the tool, the measuring tool they could use to say, hey, you seen them men, you know shit gonna hit the fan, and the people expressed this to Samuel. You're gonna get it, but go ahead.
And notoriously as well, when I go into that word notorious, notoriety, right, is something you're known for.
Right.
As you bring up that that instance with Samuel as well, they came to Samuel and asked Samuel, comest thou peaceably? Because the prophets were notoriously known, or notoriety surrounding the prophets were that when they step on the scene, shit hits a fan.
Exactly, there's a sign that this place we're in right now about to see some shit. Right?
Continuing on here, causing or bringing infamy. Convicted of an offense as a felony, bringing infamy.
And the things we're doing right now will be called offenses in the time to come. It's going to be felonies, it's going to be criminal offenses.
Yeah, we have to bring all that, because I think the overarching message for this whole video here is what? The famine of the word.
Exactly.
We're going to be made what?
Criminals.
Or how the scriptures get out. We take that as start. Get from a offender forward.
Offender forward?
Yeah. And Isaiah 59 from 15.
Yeah. In Isaiah 29 and verse 21. I'll read from verse 19. The meek also shall increase their joy in Yahweh, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reprove it in the gate.
Exactly.
And who is that? They hate thee that rebuke it at the gate. Amos 5 and 8. So that's the prophet.
Yeah, the prophet, the laying a snare, the one the prophets known as public enemy number one.
And they will be.
Revelation 12 and 12, the accuser, the break no.
I see, the accuser is cast on Revelation 12:10.
Revelation
12 is warned.
So Revelation 12 and 10, the accuser, the virgin is cast down, the accuser for day and night.
And exactly, verse 20 says what before the terrible one is brought to know.
Right, so the one who accuses us, right, and the first one we up against Esau and the chief banking families, etc., etc. The wicked rulers of this world is them we condemning. Right, we herald only the destruction of their empires. They would have their empire to continue on forever. Psalms 49 and 11. We herald only the destruction of their empire, so they are making us enemies due to that.
Perfect antithesis, right? Them have one plan, the prophets coming on the scene and telling them what I already the plan, and they seeing that it's true. Right, so now it's bothering them.
Right, yeah, right. So now, the Holy Isaiah
etymology.
Yeah, Holy Isaiah 59.
Yeah,
I'll get in the online etymology here. Right. Infamy, long early 15th century public disgrace, dishonor, evil, fame. Old French infamie, dishonor, infamous person. 14th century, which we infamous to the eyes of this world. As to be made clear, it can be not doing no evil acts for the purpose of it. We're not coming out here and not killing nobody and not doing nobody nothing. Right? We infamous because we declare in this world that has to be made clear, concise, and known. you're going to be considered infamous for committing the acts of preaching this good gospel, as Ella Malcolm, they say, or Ella Mayakara, I believe his name is, right? Where he say, Shalom to all the men who preach this doctrine, right? Risking their life to do so now more than ever. Yes, we lives on the line. That's why we consider infamous, because we lives on the line. People of this world,
as a result of being considered infamous, our lives are now put on the line.
Exactly.
Because what they say, we famous for doing evil, but we're not doing evil.
But an infamous person often meets death, right? So they're gonna put us in a situation which we're gonna have to meet death due to the infamy they're gonna have surrounding us, right? So continuing on here, disreputable, notorious, of ill fame, according to the word, right? Reputation from meaning quality of being shamefully vile, right? It's from the 1510s, in an early form in Middle English was infamy, late 14th century from Old French infamy, an earlier form of infamy. Infamy was also the Middle English verb in this brand with infamy.
Brand with. So you're not bound to be famous for evil, but what they will put you as that, exactly, because again it's evil to them.
Right, continuing. Right. It says, bring into ill repute. We're going to be brought into ill repute via those men we just listed, right, or those entities which exist, kingdoms of this world, Esau and Edom, the heathen nations, and 2/3 of the people. The only people who are going to care and have regard for what we have to say is the elect, and Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai Bashem, Yakakodash. Other than that, everybody else is going to have us down as public enemy number one. Right? Continuing on, the verb has become archaic in English. Infamize is attested from the 1590s. Right? Famous for badness.
Yeah.
Right, this one, it says infamous, the adjective from the 1550s. It says meaning cause infamy is from the 1550s as a legal term disqualified from certain rights of citizens. As the apostles was kicked out of Rome, the Jews was kicked out of Rome. They read Acts 18 chapter from the first verse going on, that's about to become a worldwide thing, that we are about to be made offenders to this world. Continuing, as even Nero, as you believe DJ Trump to be Nero today, the reincarnation of Nero, he burnt Rome down and blamed it on the Israelites. So we're expecting these things in these latter days. We're going to become infamous among those men. Continuing, disqualified from certain rights of citizens because of conviction for certain crimes, which are about to make this thing a crime, right?
The thing going on in England, the ban street preaching for Christians, but they're really trying to get Christians off the street. Who's the real Christians? The disciples of first called Christians in Antioch. So who's the real Christians is the Israelites.
You're conditioning the masses to, hey, you don't have nobody out on the street that are discussing the Bible, because we're trying to target the men who really understand what the Bible is talking about.
Exactly.
Right? So that
DJ Trump said perennial prophets. So
you know what it is, right? Because that's the rulers. They start off with the rulers. Oh yeah, the Isaiah 59 there?
Yeah.
Right. To bring it out, and then we'll go to the rulers first, and Isaiah 13 and 2.
Because I was thinking Isaiah 13, because I started at Isaiah 59 and from verse 13. In transgressing and lying against Yahweh and departing away from our power, speaking oppression and revolt, conceiving and uttering from the heart words of falsehood. And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot.
Why is truth falling in the street? Because the men who declare it, right, being put to death, or they're being made infamous.
And what being put to death as well, put to death in the eyes of these men, not necessarily just physically dead, but it's like these people have no repute, they're not alive. You don't walk around graves and think about, well, I wonder what this man thinking about me or saying about me, because what, he's dead to you. Right. The prophets have been made dead to the world. Colossians 3:3. For ye are dead, and your life is hid in Mashiach.
Not just that, you think about who else? Proverbs 1:20.
Wisdom crieth in the sheep,
she uttereth her voice in the
sheep place of concourse.
But wisdom is largely being ignored. Because wisdom, right, doesn't deal with you nicely. Right? Wisdom tries you by her crooked way. Right? So when wisdom reproofing you, you have to change, you have to turn your stiff neck with your stiff neck cut. Your neck don't set in one direction. To turn down neck, it's fucking hard. Right? So now, while the time men telling you to turn your neck and forcibly trying to help you turn your neck, right, by declaring this word unto you, what you doing? You bucking up, you guffing up against them. Why? Because you don't want to turn your neck because it's painful. Right? It's hard to stop being a nigga. We know. It's hard to stop being a nigga. It's in some people like them go see the benefits of not being a nigga. Right? To the point where they determine what kind of nigga it should be, from a fake nigga to a real nigga. Right? It's a whole nigga, a bitch ass nigga, right?
A mo nigga.
Use a bitch ass nigga. So I go be the real nigga, and you go be the bitch ass nigga. So you see, they rather sit down and debate between that other than turn to your own
between
who's the best nigga, who's the real nigga, fake nigga, fuck nigga, all that. My JC,
my nigga.
No, some will say I'm still nigga.
So I know that one. I know the one my nigga.
You know it. It's just
can't remember.
Is the one where you do the animated show to the monkey who was trying to represent as a chick?
Yeah, I don't know that.
Nah, you know, if I play the song for you, you just didn't know it's that. Yeah. But you see, that's when niggas trying to sit down and determine which kind of nigga they want to be, other than turn into your bash and your shit. So that's why truth falling in the street, because the men who declare it have no reputation, have no fame.
They're made of disrepute. Right. Isaiah 59 and continuing verse 14. And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. Yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey.
As the prophets part from the shadow of this world. The prophets get up and say, fuck Babylon the Great. The prophets, Jeremiah 51 and 6 or Jeremiah 51 and 7, flee ye out of the midst of Babylon. I did a video recently. Could have been a day ago or 2 days ago by now. The prophets have mentally checked out of this place. The prophets have mentally checked out of Babylon. So because the prophets mentally checked out of Babylon, and proof that they mentally checked out of Babylon, how they live the physical lives. Right?
We don't care about nothing.
Exactly. The how you say?
The day-to-day living.
Obedience, right? Obedience in the spirit is exercised through the flesh. Right. As James would have told us that faith without works is dead.
Right.
The faith that the prophets have that this place is coming, right, and that is a better way to come, they exercise it throughout the daily actions. But the true prophets are about Shemosha, give not a fuck about this world.
Right.
So
they wanted to go.
They wanted to go. So that is what he that departed from truth has been made praise unto all of the people.
Departed from truth.
He that departed from the truth and make it himself.
He that departed from evil
make it himself a prey. So we've been made praise, and we are being prayed upon in the earth by everyone. Anyone that is not accepting of this, which there are more wicked people in the earth than righteous,
they will seek to slay us.
They will seek to slay us. Yep. So continue, alright.
Right. And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. Yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And Yahweh saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. Right?
God. So now, to hit the 4 points. Right. First point we want to hit is who we're going to be made infamous amongst? The rulers of this world.
And not even be made infamous amongst, but are already infamous, because again, what is was and what was will be. Whether people acknowledge the fact that them hate we and don't care about we or not, whether they realize that now or they realize that in Jacob's shop, but there's no thing to win them, because we know ultimately everybody really does hate us.
Yeah.
They just some just say you realize it yet.
As long as you're not a part, because what is love anyway? The opposite, as we know, the opposite I hate is love. Ecclesiastes 3 and 8 tell you, right? There's a time for peace, there's a time for war, there's a time for love, and there's a time for hate. So the opposite of peace is war, the opposite of love is hate. But if love is to keep the commandments, and you keep the commandments, you think you could do hate us?
Who are they? Who are my brothers? Who are my sisters? Who are my this? Who are my that? They that do the will of my Father which is in heaven. So if you're not a prophet and you're not doing the will of the Most High, and you're not in line with the will of the Most High, you're against it. Therefore you are against the men who speak the will of the Most High. You just ain't go mad
Yeah, and not just that, they're bound to go mad. As we understand true love in this thing, you don't bound to be body with a man. Because two things in the world, body with each other, body with each other, and then the vibration of wickedness. So watching a movie isn't wicked, but two things will fellowship and watch a movie together. Men and the Lord will fellowship and watch a movie together. But what is the differentiation between our fellowship and their fellowship? Their fellowship is rooted, right? Their fellowship is rooted in wickedness. Our fellowship is rooted in doing the Lord's work. Right, so without doing the Lord's work, we not fellowship with each other. That is the baseline foundation of we brotherly love amongst each other. The difference between two things and us is they don't have that baseline foundation of Yahweh Shemosha. So it doesn't really matter your actions you make, as in, because you can make actions were not hateful, aka, you might not agree with the doctrine I push in, but you're not going to come against me or put your hands on me or anything. You might not even scuff you, just say that, because you know it has some chicks like that.
They'll pass on the street, see the thing and
respect, but you got to keep going, do not go look, or you fight the good fight and never come and show anything, which we know, right? But you see, did he just show hate? No, but he does not, he's not siding with us as in giving up his worldly life and coming and serve Yahweh Shemosha. Therefore, he actually does hate us. So your actions in terms of favoritism, like watching a movie or helping a brother out if he he might be in a jam and you ain't help him out. They ain't bound to. I'm not saying don't, because you still show them things and do those things to show that you love the brother. Yeah. But you wouldn't consider doing that for anybody. You wasn't a brother. Why? Because they don't love. The baseline for your love is not Yahweh Shemosha. So the baseline
for we love is Yahweh Shemosha. Whether it's doing the works, whether it's keeping the commandments, whether it's getting into this work, is we love rooted in Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai. Lord willing it be that we love rooted in Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai. Therefore we know we love is real. Like the people of this world do not love us. What? We are infamous amongst them. You have it? I can read it.
Yeah.
The book of Isaiah 13, reading from verse 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see, lift you up a banner, this truth, the standard that we have, we holding, we carrying, Lord willing, we raising it high.
We're going to look up banner. I think we're going to do now, look up banner, we go to the Psalms, the book of Psalms, you see the banner is the name of the Lord on the banner. Right. So this truth is, the name of the Lord is representative of this truth, as we have access to the knowledge, true knowledge, wisdom and understanding of this book, through the name of the Lord. Right, that is baseline. So the baseline foundation I have in our foundation is the name of Yahweh Shemosha. So this banner here is representative of the knowledge, wisdom and understanding of Yahweh Shemosha, which begins to be first declared unto you through his name. Right.
Verse 2, lift you up a banner upon a high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, Isaiah 58:1.
Right. So the high mountain references the rulership of this earth, right? And exalting the voice unto them, the rulers of this high mountain. Right. As you're about to continue and tell you, right.
Shake the hand.
Shaking the hand, you're giving them a warning, right? You're telling them off, right?
That they may go into the gates of the nobles.
Now, a fourth time, you go back in history, the time of the Babylonian Empire, the time of the Israelite Empire, the time of the Judite Empire, the time of the Medo-Persian Empire, the time of the Empire, the Roman Empire. We often stood in the courts of kings. Proof of this, John the Baptist was in the court of Herod, Daniel was in the court of Nebuchadnezzar, Mordecai was in the court of Artaxerxes, etc., etc. So the prophets of the Lord often stood in the courts of kings, right, the gates of the nobles, to let the nobles know what the Lord had said concerning their kingdom. In these times, we still stand in the courts of kings. How? By this word, this.
We literally in the house.
We in the house.
Every time we put up one of these videos and watch it, we in the house telling them, your time is at hand.
And some of them have it as in, all of them putting it up and they watching what we saying and they're making the compilations to say, hey, oh, these men is domestic terrorists, right? So they're watching to then accuse us, but they're also watching us to hear the judgment, as Nebuchadnezzar called for Daniel to tell him the vision concerning the dream, right? Who else? Belshazzar, I was trying to remember his name, Belshazzar. The handwriting on the wall. Many tekel who fastened Daniel was then called to declare unto him the interpretation of the writing on the wall. Right? Forward number thy kingdom and forward number thy kingdom, right? Forward with the word in the balance and had found one thing. And first, and thy kingdom is divided and given unto the Medes and the Persians, but thy kingdom is going to be divided in these times and given unto the nation of Israel.
Yeah.
Right, let's continue. Right, so that's one here. Right, you can get.
And read down till verse 4.
Good.
I have commanded my sanctified ones,
Prophets.
Jeremiah 1:5. I have sanctified thee and ordained thee a prophet among the nations. I have also called my mighty ones from mine anger, even them that rejoice in mine highness, which again, we see in the message here. We see in the prophet and we see in what the infamous 4 is telling them of the shit that gonna hit the fan. Verse 4, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like us of a great people, a tumultuous noise. Is a tumultuous noise something that is pleasant or peaceful? No. But we declare it unto you of the kingdoms of nations. Again, the first ones we are infamous for or are known for infamy around, right? Gathered together, Yahweh of hosts mustered the hosts of the battle. Verse 5, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven.
Verse 5 details how or what we declare that the end of the empire is going to come through these nuclear missiles.
Right? Even Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. So firstly, we are against these nobles, and secondly, we are against these kingdoms. Right?
That back up being against the nobles. Revelation 12 and 12.
Yep.
And how they know. Right. And how they know. Or rather, let me not say they against us and we made them famous amongst them. Why? Because we declare that they have but a short time.
Yeah. This is the book of Revelation 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time.
Devil is metaphorically representative of a man or the men who in rulership in here today. So
how does he know
you have a short time? And the prophets out here letting him know.
And that is why they are infamous, because to them it is evil. Because of course it's going to be evil to them. Why? Because it doesn't mean anything good for you once your kingdom is out. This is the book. I'll even go Psalms 149. This is the book of Psalms 149 and verse 5.
One more precept to that too.
I want here too as well. Job 18:49. This is the book of Psalms 149 verse 5. Let the saints, who are the saints, the people of the nation of Israel, be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of power be in their mouth.
So more so now lean on the left.
Right. And a two-edged sword in their hand.
Because the left is going to be the ones that had the first taste of this glory.
Right. To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. To bind their kings with chains, again the ones who rule in the nobles, the kingdoms, and their nobles with fetters of iron. To execute upon them the judgment written. Dishonor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, and reading verse, I believe it's 18. Right? Because again, what is so evil about what it is we telling you all, it's evil for you, because the minute this kingdom is taken by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, it means your slavery. Right? We just read it in Psalms 149. But who are the ones that are going to make you or put you in slavery, is the Israelites. Daniel 7 verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. This is the book of Daniel 7 and verse 26. But a judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him, who is the speaking of Yahushai, by extension is elect. Again, Daniel 2 and verse 44. Israel gonna have the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. And the first judgment, the first decree we're gonna have all day is to enslave you all. So yes, we are infamous among the nobles and the rulers and the kingdoms of this world. We have never been famous for anything but the evil that we declare unto it.
That's one more, yeah?
Yeah. The book of Job 18 and verse 14. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle.
I want to say,
Tell us.
no. A dreadful song in music.
The book of Job chapter 15 verse 21.
This is why the infamous, the dreadful song we sung in his ear, representative of this word being woken back up within the earth.
Revived in the earth, revive thy work in the midst of the years.
Right.
And right to remember mercy.
To make thy power known. Right? So this work being revived in the earth is making us infamous because we declaring the end of the empire.
God.
It's dreadful to you. A dreadful song like African.
Dun, dun, dun. No, at the end of the Psalms and them, Haggai and Salah.
You know, when they say the dun, they always actually come to mind, you know, when they, in TV shows, when you run the chalk down the blackboard, and the chalk, some nails scraped down a blackboard, that irritating song you get.
Yeah.
Or a song that will make your blood scroll.
Yeah, I know, I could imagine.
Yeah, I could imagine. Right. This is what this word is like, you know, to Esau Edom. His blood is scrolling here in this. He's angry. He's coming along having great trials because that dreadful song is being rang in his fucking ears.
God.
That phone, he calling that phone. And you're not answering, but you're hanging up to call him back one time. So and it bothers you to hang up. You just hear
you know it's just to pick up a phone and you want to hang it up, but you don't want it up because you know it just can't ring again.
And even if you answer, it's still ringing your phone again.
Pick up the phone, skips, we know your home, skips. Yeah, it's literally that. Pick up the phone, we know your home, and we're going to burn down your fucking house with this word. That is what the prophets are basically known for. Burning down your house.
I think Jeremiah 4:7 is not my word fire. I don't think
I know 4 I the line is coming from the ticket. Like 4:7. By the way, it's not my word fire. Yes. And who is the mouth to give out that word? The prophets. So the prophets sending out words are fire. Of course you vex. Right? There's Job 15:21. A dreadful song is in his ears. In prosperity the destroyer shall come upon him. Who's the destroyer? Yahweh Shai. Yeah. This is the book of Jeremiah 28 and verse 8. Again, the prophets are known for this. This is nothing new. The prophets have been before me. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old, remember the spirit of the prophets, subject to the prophets, prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. Right? So obviously the prophets are infamous amongst the nobles, the kings and the kingdoms of the earth. Why? Because they bring those kingdoms to their knees. Why? Because ultimately we know the ruler is who does it, Yahweh, but he did it after he told the prophets to tell them he was going to do it. Shall there be evil in a city and Yahweh had not done it? Yahweh will do nothing except he reveal his secret unto his servants, the prophets. Going down to Amos 3 and 8, it makes mention of what? Yahweh had spoken, who can but prophesy. Right? Yahweh plans to burn this place to the ground, and he told the prophets to tell everybody about it before he did it. And that's what the prophets have always been doing. They are infamous for such. Right?
Right, so you discuss the rulers, you discuss the kingdoms, the rebels of Israel and the heathens. Right? Go to the rebels of Israel, Proverbs 1 and from 20.
Done. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 20. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates in the city. She uttereth her words, saying, How long ye simple ones, speaking of the Israelites, my children of Israel are Sotter's children. Right?
Isaiah the first chapter. Yeah, that as well. Right, this one as well. Yeah, how should I say?
Yeah. How long ye simple ones will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge.
Right, so this is the message the prophets declaring against the nation of Israel. Because who me messages to essentially? Right? We read Isaiah 1 and some men might say Sodom and Gomorrah. No, Israel was just operating in the state of Sodom and Gomorrah. Very Tobit, the 13th chapter and the 3rd verse, it lets you know what? Declare him among the Gentiles, meaning the other nations. Why? For ye are scattered amongst them. So this Yahushua in Matthew the 10th chapter, the Great Commission, go ye not into the way of Gentiles, nor into the way of Samaria, but go ye rather to what? The Lord sheep of the children of Israel. Saying, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So this word is to the nation of Israel. So the ones who hate, the ones who really love simplicity and the scorn and delighting in scorning and fools hate knowledge, that is you Israelites. We are likening you all unto fools, right? Scorners, as the brother make mention of sottish children, foolish children, right? Yahweh even likening the nation of Israel unto beasts. Get Isaiah the first chapter, I can back it quickly and then bring it back here. Isaiah 1 and
Simple people.
3 and 4.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 1 reading from verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib.
These animals that hard to, discipline and teach. You can teach a dog, right? It's easy to teach a dog, right? It's easy to shepherd sheep, and not easy to do these things unto ox, and not easy to do these things unto asses,
which is donkeys,
right? And even they understand and who their master and their owner is, and Israel doesn't. So if these dumb animals, right, that haven't been elevated upon above a fifth level of thinking, they've been given 5 senses, right? The book of Sirach, the 17th chapter gives you that account, right? Every beast of the field was given 5 senses. The human beings were elevated to having a 6th sense, which is able to interpret the thoughts of going to their mind through their mouth, through speech, and then the 7th imparted understanding unto mankind, at mankind level above animals, and even they could tell you who their master and the owner is. And not like as in speak, but they understand who their master and their owner is, and the nation of Israel does not. So what the Lord literally said, you all are dumber than animals. And the hardest, dumbest animals, you list some dumb animals here, animals that
very hard to discipline.
Stubborn, yeah.
It is Asaph said, I was as a beast before thee.
Asaph said it. But Asaph repented, in that same psalm he repented. He said, until I went into the sanctuary, I was envious at that. We said I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. I was as a beast before thee. And then later on he said, what? Not until I went into the sanctuary of the Lord did I understand the end. So he was seeing the wicked prospering in the earth, and he asking the question. He was fool. He was envious. He was like, but how these wicked people getting above and ahead of we? But then he understood that the Lord have them in this state now. But what eventually he's going to pull them down from there. That when he went into the sanctuary, that when he went amongst the men of the Lord, and he understood, yes, this is what the Lord intends to do. But you Western nation, and 2/3 you rebels as we are, the rebels are the nation of Israel. You all hate this youth, right? Because your next step. Because it's hard to stop being a nigga. And you all would rather sit down and continue to be nigga and turn onto the Holy One of Israel. Right? As I did that video recently, there are people who bite the hand that feeds them, often lick the boot that kicks them. That's the nation of Israel. They bite the hand of Yahweh Shemel, but they're kissing and licking Esau them foot. And Esau them keeping them down and kicking them. Right? Luke the 16th chapter from 19 to 27, the parable of the rich man and Lazarus. The rich man and Lazarus and these dogs like unto the other nation, heathen nation, have benefited of the downfall of the nation of Israel, and you all want to be in league with them. God, come on. God. Of course you're going to hate us. It's easier to be in league with the people that are oppressing you than up here, because it's hard work. We're not talking like it's hard work. Yeah, first you have to break that spiritual psychosis you have, or how, where it's called, like what happened in Get Out, when the black man,
Rated by
fucking I so like yeah, one move, I know it's on the tip of my tongue, I know you know it too. MK Ultra.
Yeah, I think you know that, but I didn't think it was good.
No, yeah, but yeah, remember when the black man talked to the other Jake who was dressed down, cool down, like a fucking Edomite, and he ended up talking to him, and his eyes, he was smiling and laughing and kicking all the time, and as he realized it, hold on. And then he went from smiling and laughing to that straight face, and then blood started to come out, you know? Yeah. That is it. It's a hard work, and then after realizing that, you had to play as though you didn't realize that, and evade and escape and duck away from your enemy, and then attempt to establish the kingdom via this work. Because this is the first step in establishing the kingdom. Acts 1 and 7 prove that the apostles asked Yahweh, will thou at this time restore the kingdom to the nation of Israel. I wish I said and tell them, hold on, or you had to study that, go and prophesy.
Right.
So prophesying is the first step to establishing the kingdom of Israel, right? And to sit down and wait for the pure for that reward. Jake just not ready to do that.
Yeah.
They're not the one the quick fix. You continue to smoke weed, smoke whatever drugs you're smoking, and hope for the best.
Right.
Or expect the worst and hope for a little thing better than that.
Yeah. And if you could give me it right, because you're more it?
Yeah,
Verse 4.
Yeah.
And verse 4, our sinful nation. Say that.
But Israel doth not know my people that know.
Sorry, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. Our sinful nation, a people laden to iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters, have forsaken Yahweh. They provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are going away backward, forsaken Yahweh. I believe it's as the same Isaiah 59 years reading.
Isaiah 59 from 13.
Yeah, verse 13. If I could just get back the thought on that, right in transgression and lying against Yahweh. Scriptures will make mention of what they had said, that Yahweh had forsaken the earth. Right? So again, you understand that we would be infamous among these people for evil. And for, have a bad name amongst these people, because this is what we are known for. This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 16, and I'll read from verse 2. And Samuel said, how can I go if Saul hears? He will kill me. And Yahweh said, take an heifer with thee, and say, I am come to sacrifice to Yahweh. And call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show thee what thou shalt do, and thou shalt anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee. And Samuel did that which Yahweh spake, and came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the tongue trembled at his coming, and said, comest thou peaceably? The elders of the nation of Israel who were put over that tongue trembled at the sight of Samuel. Why? Because prophets known for calling shit on people. Calling shit on people to the point that they would die. Again, Amos 3 and verse 6. So it's not just that the prophets are infamous among the nation of Israel, but it's also the fact of why they're infamous. They understand what it means when they see a prophet, right? They're known for bringing evil to tongues most of the time, right? It's a big thing to see a prophet in tongue, and in these days it's going to be a big thing unto what? Unto death. If you give me Ezekiel 33, the people are still talking about it. If we could go from verse 30.
Ezekiel 33 and verse 30. Right, after this you go the other nations.
Right.
Also, thou son of man, the children of thy people are still talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses.
So basically, any place of communication here, I'm saying in the earth, the grapevine, right? The grapevine is the chief places of concourse, and in your own house,
and in these days it will be the internet.
Yeah, you see,
everybody, you do a video, you come and
every Elamanata Zakba, GMS South Carolina 08 is a perfect example of that. He always hitting these videos on these people who are always saying about the Israelites, and specifically the prophets of the nation of Israel. Because when they talk about the Israelites most of the time, they don't ever talk about the everyday Israelites. Because we're telling you you're an Israelite and you believe not. But
people who declare unto you that you are an Israelite.
Exactly. Who?
And
the prophets.
And then what? When you read this verse, you understand that what the prophet's going to be the talk of the tongue. The talk of the tongue, the prophet's going to be the talk of the tongue. The Apostle Paul said it, therefore I perceive that the Lord has sent forth us, the apostles last as it were appointed unto death. We have the last doctrine in this earth, the last movement, the last say in this earth before the earth goes to shit. Yeah. Then, before, because it had movements, it shall be brought to fame in every land, put to shame. Right. So,
but to be brought to fame mean what? Everybody knew you at a point, but they knew you for what? For shameful things. And those very same lands, they're going to be glorified and be made famous.
Yeah? So from there you understand what?
You're saying Apostle Paul?
Concerning the doctrine we have as well. Everybody else had the chance, and it no fruit beared from that, right? You got the Egyptologists, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, you had
But you had all
The
kind of
red
shit,
pill,
innit?
the red
The
pill
Scientologists,
movement,
the Christianity.
everything. Everybody had the chance to talk, everybody had the chance to speak. Of course, everything has gone to naught. This will not go to naught.
Exactly. Exactly, and this is a big reason as to why we're gonna be infamous. It also goes into the level of the infamy, right? It's gonna be a worldwide thing, right? And we're gonna hit it with these nations. You see the nations. Last point, your voice had to go into all year,
Right. It says, and speak one to another, everyone to his brother, saying, Come, I pray you, and hear what is the word that cometh forth from the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they shew much love.
Yeah, you ain't talking shit in the royal with much love and much respect, but I will believe what you're saying, innit? I not repent for shit.
Deep down, right, I not on that. Right. But their heart goeth after much covetousness. And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that has a pleasant voice, because they like the lovely part. They're going to be a king as a Israelite, as God chosen people. But to understand the suffering, they might have to be put to death, etc., etc. They could take the sweet, but the bitter, they don't want the bitter. They're not able to take part in our Passover, as the Passover is a bitter experience, right? Continuing, it was a hard experience to get up and leave everything behind, leave Egypt behind, right, and go and had faith in the Lord that He would have delivered we into a place better than that, under we own dominion and rulership, right? It's harder to establish, as I said, it's harder to establish a kingdom, because for one, you had to break free of that mental psychosis. For two, you had to pull down the kingdom that currently is within your mind, right, and by doing this work. And three, establish your kingdom to come. So his work had to be put into this, and they don't want to put in that work.
Right, lazy.
Continuing, and can play well on an instrument, for they hear thy words, but they do not do them.
To the nation of Israel, it's sung like music, and to the wicked of the earth, it's sung like music. Pleasant to the nation of Israel, because ultimately it is for them, right? Obviously, it sounds nice to hear that you will be a king and you'll be immortal. You'll have thousands of wives, you'll have thousands of slaves, you'll never die, you'll beat up everybody who ever put their hands on you who's not Israelite. But to the heathens, for them to hear that, now it's like, dying song into them to hear that.
Are you reading the Bible? Are you really going into the Bible and saying that?
Exactly, because what the first iteration of the breakdown was, and I say iteration and first is because it's the same Bible. It just was in the hands of multiple people. Again, Apostle Ariam Lab loves to say, get your grubby, nasty, dirty paws off with Bible, because you have the book, but the message of the book sending and preaching, you not giving. Again, is incoming, impending slavery for you all, right? So how could you now come and then tell me that Jesus said prosperity for all? That is not what the Bible is saying. So how Jesus could say that? Fuck Jesus. What the fuck you talking about?
Stand by that wholeheartedly.
Wholeheartedly fuck Jesus. Who the fuck is he? And that is the whole point. Because getting to these heathens, they were tricked into believing that this was for everybody. But it's not for you. It's not really for you. And that is why we will be infamous among these heathen nations as well. But go ahead. Right.
If we could finish. Yeah, verse 33. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come.
We're telling you these things that we telling you gonna happen. Especially even this scripture here that you're reading. Go ahead.
Then shall they know that a prophet had been among them.
And being among them, they will become famous and simultaneously infamous while the world goes to shit. Because when Revelation 13:16 happens, as we're telling you it's going to happen, they're going to say, but I remember them men were talking about that. Why they didn't keep talking, boy? Why they're not here to help you? You're going to be put in the wrong no matter what you're doing. And even though it was warning them, they didn't take the warning. They're not going to blame themselves and say them was in the wrong. You know, the only time they're going to say they was in the wrong is literally when the chariots come. Like, we fools. We fools are counted as like madness.
And it's end to be without honor.
And it's end to be without honor. If only had the trump card, then they're going to say, no what, maybe he was right. And they're literally still going to say maybe. It's only some death by peeing fall after them.
Them only going to know after they're dead and they're going back to the spiritual.
Can't. Right? When they're in the right, man.
Right. now to hit the heathens, to finish it off with the heathens, right? And then the brother had some precepts. I had one here in Nehemiah, right? When the rebuilding of the temple, which is really period here now, the rebuilding of the temple, and heathens trying to hinder it, because for one, they thought the rebuilding of the temple had something to do with them.
And they would incorporate everybody, and there's a kumbaya.
And now that they understand that the rebuilding of the temple is not for them, they then understand after the rebuilding of the temple, right, they are going to be put into slavery to upkeep said temple. So,
Jerusalem shall be built up with carbuncle and gold and sapphire.
I'm not doing that.
Exactly.
I'm not doing that. Tobijah. No. Is this, I don't know why, this song. Tobiah. Right. Nehemiah 4 MC from 3. Right. And now Tobiah the Ammonite was by him. And he said, even that which they build, if a fox go up, he shall even break down their stone wall. Hear, O our power, for we are despised, and turn their reproach upon their own head, and give them for a prey into the land of captivity. And cover not their iniquity, and let not their sin be blotted out from before thee, for they have provoked thee to anger before the builders. Listen. Right, let me read from 1. Nehemiah 4 from 1. But it came to pass when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, was in the process of building back Jerusalem, the temple, and rebuilding Jerusalem because it had been sacked by the Babylonians, right? And to great indignation, these heathen nations have a problem in the building up or the rebuilding of the third temple of the nation of Israel. What proves that? Revelation, the 11th chapter and the 11th verse, and they saw their dead bodies and suffered not their dead bodies to be put into graves. They understand. These heathen nations understand one thing for sure. Judah, the 5th chapter, lets you know that if the nation of Israel is in good standing with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, they are fucked. The other heathen nations are fucked, so they try their best and their utmost important, Psalms 83 chapter, to stop us from being in good standing with our power.
Psalms 2nd chapter. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth sit themselves together and take counsel against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, what? Let us cut their cords from us, let us cast their bands asunder. But Yahweh, he that sitteth in the heavens, shall laugh. Yahweh shall have them in derision. Psalm chapter 2. Just get the whole breakdown there. These nations don't care about we.
They never did.
And they never will. But I mean, I guess the woman can really like we in the end.
The woman, you know the woman care about. But other than that,
besides the woman, really, after that, the rest of the heathen nations don't give a fuck about it. Because what? They benefit not from us prospering, just like we don't benefit when they prosper. Somebody had to suffer and somebody had to be happy. It's just who's suffering and who's being happy.
And they greedy too. They understand that we need to be put down, right? So they could agree on that, but then who rules, right? That infighting amongst them is always happening, and it's currently here today. Two nations that against each other currently is the Moabite man and the Edomite man.
Because the Edomite man is even against himself. Both of them have lots of land and places of dominion where they rule and they give their laws and their ways. And they still can't be.
So they want to see who's really we want our way pushed throughout the earth consistent, right? So they even fighting amongst each other to see, well, Israel put down in it. Make sure that is being established, but who gonna run this bitch? Why them down, so that's gonna lead to their demise as well. A kingdom not standing against each other or divided against each other shall not stand.
And even though the heathen nations don't necessarily rule the kingdom, they don't have the kingly authority, the malakwat in the Hebrew, they don't have the say, they still have say because they are part of the confederacy of nations that rule. Psalms 83, Obadiah 1. So, they don't have complete rule, they don't have say, but nobody telling them what to do necessarily neither. So, you see what's going on.
Jump down to verse 7. But it came to pass
when Sanballat
and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites group of heathens, heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up and that the breaches began to be stopped, then they were very wroth and conspired all of them together to come and to fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it. They understand the importance of having, at that point they understood the importance of destroying the walls and the temple, because reconnection at fourth time to the power was in a physical sense, in terms of through the temple and through the sacrifice, the altar, etc., etc. But Yahweh is now done away with that, and you have to be in the spirit if you're not operating within the spirit, because we have no Israelite now by and large has access to Jerusalem, nor to the temple, nor to the covenant. They destroy all them. They destroy everything physical to give us our connection to the power. So now they're trying to hinder the spirit as well via the MOTB.
Daniel 7, they shall seek to will the saints of the Most High. He shall seek to change times and laws. They shall be given into his hand for time and times and various times. So basically you get to run the show. What you're doing now that you're running the show, doing everything you can to oppress the nation of Israel.
God. So you understand the they understand the importance of severing that connection, and they're trying every which way to sever that connection. At fourth time they did it by destroying the temple walls, right? He even wrote letters unto Xerxes saying hinder these men from building up the temple, because they have the history of the Jews and what else happened when they have the connection to their power. Right? So let's hinder that. Right? Now they're trying to do it via, chipping it.
Right. And everything else on nice and care. Even if you're not chipping, they'll see a prophet sign in the street, you minding your own business, they'll call the police on
Exactly.
So they might not understand what's going on in this time, because everybody lying about everything and everything is being hid. But through the spirit they know what it means. It's time for the
spirit, they feel it, the fear that the Lord puts upon his men against these other people, right? They feel it.
Make thy face hard against theirs. So people will, a prophet when you see one. You know one, right? If you could give it, is it on it?
Yeah, I don't know.
If I have it here, just again, the infamy among the heathens, we scattered across the whole four corners of the earth. So of course we will be made infamous amongst all these places. Again, the brother made mention Tobit 13. Declaim among the Gentiles, so you are scattered among them. Well, Yahweh told us to do the same thing. Go to the four corners of the earth and let everybody get this work, and let everybody hear this work. This is the book of
even Ezra cut that kumbaya spirit,
search of the truth and the glory for such.
No. I mean, well, not just that, but heathens are tempted. The book of Ezra confirms, and the book of Nehemiah as well confirms that heathens are tempted to come and help us build up the wall and build up Jerusalem.
And they would deny.
And they would deny. They say you have no part, no parcel in this matter. Right? So there's no kumbaya. Now, that beautiful video to get into there. Why would they deny then, but they're going to build up the walls and things in the kingdom? Well, it's under what condition? They wanted to help us and join and make marriages with us to help us build up our temple at fourth time. But now it is being done, or when you do it in the kingdom, it is going to be done under servitude. There's two different conditions in which you're going to work for us, right? Or two different ways in which it was going to do that work. One was under the vibration of kumbaya. No, we could have never allowed you all to come and help us under the vibration of kumbaya, but you all are going to come and help us under the vibration of servitude in the kingdom of heaven to come. We had to understand that there. Christians not able to decipher that and show that.
They don't read.
They don't know. Go ahead and close this piece of the Acts 1 and 7.
I decided Matthew 24:14, and then come and this gospel of the kingdom, and give me Romans 10:18 as well. Romans 10:18, Matthew 24:14, I believe.
Yeah. Matthew 24:14, it says, and this kingdom, and this gospel of the kingdom,
this message that we have, this good word, not the Jesus thing. Everything, you see that shit? Fuck that. See the doctrine that the apostles of GMS pushing, spearheaded the standard, spearheaded by the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yerushai. That, what we pushing, go ahead,
shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
So what? Infamy among the kings, infamy among the kingdoms, infamy among your own people. You also infamous among all the nations of the earth, because we are all around them, everybody here in this world. There's no way everybody in the earth can hear this word. And YouTube, make sure of that. If you could give me it in Romans 10:18.
Romans 10:18. It says, But I say, have they not heard?
And
Yes.
This is they. This is who is this they?
Everyone.
Well,
Right.
you're gonna show you
Yes, verily, their song runs into all the earth,
into all the earth. Well,
and their words into the ends of the world.
and their words into the end of the world. Every single nation, demographic, and group of people in the earth have heard this word that includes you heathens. Right? So you all know what this message is for, and it's not for you. Forgive me, I believe the next precept I did call for was
The Acts 1 and 7.
Acts 1 and 10, yeah.
Acts 1 and 7, it says, and he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power, but ye shall receive power after that the Holy Spirit is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the
Uttermost parts of the earth.
With Samaria, so like I was heathen central at that.
God. And uttermost parts of the earth, what's the opposite side of the world? So if we over here in Western Asia, Middle East as the people have it, now we all quite over here in the West. From the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Here we wept when we remembered Zion, when the wicked one carried us away into captivity. Where will we carry away into captivity? Into all four corners of the earth. Micah 4 and 10, if you could give me it real quick.
Micah 4 and verse 10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion,
Bring forth what the kingdom
like a woman in travail.
can.
For now shalt thou go forth out of the city,
Out of Jerusalem,
and thou shalt dwell in the field,
Africa,
and thou shalt go even to Babylon.
and the new Babylon, Revelation 17:5. God,
There shalt thou be delivered.
and there shall thou be delivered. God,
There shalt thou be delivered. There the Lord Yahweh shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies.
Nehemiah 5 and 9. Right? Should we not be in fear of our power because of the approach of the heathen, our enemies? So what? We are made and have been made infamous amongst the heathen nations as well. Right?
So,
the prophets are an infamy in the earth. And I want to talk about the kingdoms, the rulers, the Israelites themselves, or these heathen nations. Go ahead, take it close.
With that, give all praise, all glory, all honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Yachah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of great men, soon surely do well. And as always, we sing Shalom to the elect.
Shalom to the elect.
This is a couple of brothers from here. It's Yahushai, come brother.
Maya Shala.
And I'm the brother Isaiah saying,
Shalom.
Shalom.
Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.